Shalom, shalom. Before I get started, I want to give all glory, honor, and praise to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shah Bahashem Rakah Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders at GMS. Peace, honor, and respect to you brothers that's out there laboring, edifying, rightly divining the word of truth and sincerity. And shalom to you believers out there, the Aki and Akwath. And what I wanted to get into in this lesson is, I was just at home reading, I was in Genesis, kind of starting over, reading the scriptures, to refresh myself on the history and the stories and the things, because the Bible, you can kind of need a touch up, So I just was like, I'm just reading, got into the spirit, man. I was just thinking when I was reading Genesis 20, all right, I was thinking how, the Lord don't play with adultery, all right, and people, they don't understand the severity of it, especially in our community. But I'm gonna just put it like this: everywhere, no matter what the community is. But I'm saying in our community, so-called black community, Israelite community, because the average rapper, you gotta think, the average rappers, one of the main topics is how they, effing another man. How they put it, effing another man be. That's one of the most used lines or most used trends, the most used things in rap music. Adultery. You know what I'm saying? Whether it be a man's wife, technically, because sex is marriage. All right. So, but whether they got paperwork or whether it's their girlfriend, So, because you got to think, I was listening to a Tupac song, and he, like, what he do? He would brag about sleeping with Biggie's wife on multiple occasions. I mean, all these rappers do that. They talk about how they, they man a bum or they get more money, so they take a nigga girl and all of that. But hey, man, reading this, it made me think about all that. Like, that's why a lot of ninjas in the hood be getting messed up, low key, adultery. And then you got the factor of a man can take you out once he find that out. That's another, judgment that the Lord put on the dude. You dealing with his woman, you know what I'm saying? He catch you with your pants down, literally and figuratively, and he catch you slipping and take you out, man. Take you to the spirit world. So it says in Genesis 20, I'm reading this in NLT. It says, Abraham moved south to Negev and lived for a while between Kodash, that's Kodash in Hebrew, with Kadesh and Shur, and then moved to Gerar while living there as a foreigner. Abraham introduced his wife Sarah by saying, she is my sister. So King Abimelech of Gerar sent for Sarah and had her brought to him at the palace. And the reason why he was saying that was his sister, because she was beautiful. So, in them times, you got a beautiful woman, they'll just murk you off and take your woman, especially when you're dealing with kings. You watch a lot of these period pieces. Kings, they could just snatch up a woman like that, which is adultery. All right, a lot of them kings was committing adultery. All right, which adultery, and this is another thing, this is a cut on you, especially you modern day Christians that think, if a man had more than one woman, he's committing adultery. Well, number one, a lot of our forefathers had multiple wives. Top guys like David, Solomon, Abraham had more than one woman. Jacob, our forefather, they had more than one woman. Don't you think at that point the Lord would have told them, hey, y'all committing adultery? Because he checked adultery right here. He checked it at the door. So don't you think, let's just take Solomon, for example. You know what I'm saying? Even Abraham, he said Abraham was his friend. So he said David was a man near to his heart. So you got to think, don't you think he would have told those men like, hey, you got more than one woman. Chill out. Or I'm going to kill you. I'm going to kill your family. I'm going to kill off. I'm going to cause some type of plague because you moving in adultery. No. So that's a cut. Number two, you never heard about a man giving away his wife. All right. But when Sarah, all right, gave Abraham Hagar, all right, then what happened? Uh, Nothing. The Lord didn't say, "Hey, hold on, what you doing, Sarah? You married to him. That would be adultery." So that's a cut, man. Y'all gotta read the scriptures and read this book ain't for everybody. That's what it teaches you, but that's a cut. A man can have more than one woman. We see multiple men of the Lord with more than one woman, and the Lord checks adultery at the door right here. Let's get it. Let me continue. I just wanted to throw that out there. It says, um, verse 3, but that night the Most High came to Abimelech in a dream and told him, "You are a dead man, for the woman you have taken is already married." When has this ever happened? When, because you got to think, uh, the handmaidens of Jacob took two of his women handmaidens, and the Lord ain't check him and say, "Wait a minute, hold on, y'all can't be doing that. Y'all can't be giving y'all handmaidens to these guys because that's adult." No, man, cut it out. But let's go here too, because I want to get this. All right, let's pause. Now you see the Most High. He said, but that night the Most High came to Abimelech in a dream and told him, "You are a dead man, for that woman you have taken is already married." All right, let's go here to, let's pause that. Because see, again, in our community, man, you know what I'm saying? It's a lot. Wherever Jake at is that dark cloud. A lot of that got to do with the adultery and the other sins. Now, of course, we under the curses. That's just off the rip. All right. And that's why men don't respect men relationships being under that curse. That evil eye. That's a part of that evil eye towards our brother. All right. That we don't respect. Okay, that's that man woman. Let me not deal with her. No, nigga oppress. Hey, you got a man? Oh, okay. Can I be your friend? That's that favorite line niggas use. Now, when you get Hosea 4, I'm gonna start at verse 1. It says, "Hear the word of the Lord, O people of Israel. The Lord has brought charges against you, saying, there is no faithfulness, no kindness, no knowledge of the land of the Most High in your land." And see, let me go back to the KJV, because it says, "Hear the word of the Lord Yahweh, you children of Israel. For the Lord hath a controversy with the inhabitants of the land, because there is no truth, nor mercy, nor knowledge of the Most High in the land." See, it's no knowledge of the Most High. There's no knowledge that's of the Most High. That's why that adultery, people just look past that. Like, they can just deal with another man, woman, and nothing gonna happen to them. Then you hear on the news where a man, you know what I'm saying, his daughter, the whole family got killed. Or you know, niggas be moving in that spirit of adultery. They dealing with all these women, and some of the women got men, and they wondering why, you know, they finances messed up, they life messed up, they got trouble, you know, they caught a disease or something. Like, the Lord will plague you for that. Cause see, right here down verse 6, it says, "My people are what? Destroyed for a lack of knowledge." Even knowing that what truly adultery is a lack of knowledge. This is why our divorce rate is so high as well, because the woman feel like if her man deal with another woman, well, she can divorce him, when the woman can't even divorce the man. That's a lack of knowledge. See, my people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge, because thou hast rejected knowledge, I will also reject thee. See, the Lord rejected the Israelites because they rejected knowledge. Number one, they transgressed. All right, but they rejected it. When you rejecting the knowledge, so you transgressing that. You transgressing because you basically rejecting it. "I will also reject thee, that thou shalt be no priest unto me, seeing that thou hast forgotten the law of thy power. I will also forgive thy children." See, so we have been destroyed for a lack of knowledge, knowing this book. All right, knowing what adultery is, knowing that the woman can't just up and leave her husband, knowing that the husband can deal with multiple women. Now, is it expedient to deal with multiple women in certain cases? No. All right, because hey, if you was dealing with multiple women, you had to take care of those women. All right, and that includes financially. All right, a man, you supposed to be able to financially, do your thing with your wife, man. All right, now if y'all come together, it's this thing about 50-50. Slocky, and I might be seeming like I'm everywhere, but I'm just kind of making a point. Just fit, if you and your woman going 50-50, y'all a team and y'all doing y'all thing, that's cool. All right, who can know a way between a man and a woman? Roughly paraphrasing the scriptures. All right, you got instances where the man might make all the bread, and that's cool. And then, but as a man, you supposed to be making one. Your woman ain't supposed to be taking care of you financially, by no means. She can help, she can contribute to the household, but she ain't supposed to be the breadwinner. All now, if you fall, you stumble, you getting back up, and she was able in a position to, carry that load for a minute, cool. But you supposed to get your ass back up. But this the thing, are we destroyed for that lack of knowledge? All right, that's why that contributes to a lot of the divorce rate. Women not understanding men's nature, and a man can deal with another woman. All right, might not be expedient for every man, but nonetheless, a man can do it. All right. Lack of knowledge of adultery, meaning on the man part, that you think you could just deal with this man's woman. Oh, it ain't got no ring on it. Well, he going into her. All right, he might not have a ring on it, but that's still his woman. You see what I'm saying? Technically, that's his wife. All right, because marriage, sex is marriage, but really had to be a virgin. So that's a whole nother topic. But if that's his woman, he going into her. They might have a baby, a kid or two. They might even stay together. She might not have a ring on it, but that's still his woman. You can't just be going into her lottie dolly. You can cause things on yourself. All right. So now it says verse 2, Hosea 4:2, it says, by swearing and lying and killing and stealing and committing adultery, they break out, and blood touches blood. All right. Let me get that in the NLT. It says, you make vows and break them. You kill and steal and commit adultery. There is violence everywhere, one murder after another. This is the typical Israelite neighborhood. The typical so-called black neighborhood is what? Killing, stealing, committing adultery, violence everywhere, murder one after another, man. Just turn on the news. Just watch the news long enough. You're going to see it. You're going to hear it, whatever. Okay? Violence that's why nobody want to live in the hood. Okay? So, it's like ESV says they're swearing, lying, murder, stealing, and committing adultery. They break all bounds, and bloodshed follows bloodshed. Yeah. So this is a typical Israelite neighborhood. When you go, you could tell when you're in the black community. It's gonna be trash. It's gonna be graffiti. Niggas gonna be on the corner. Women gonna be walking around scantily clad. And that's another thing. Cause the Lord, let me get this though. Hosea 4:3. Therefore the land shall mourn. Right. Everywhere Jake at, the land is mourning, man. And that's even, period. Esau is another topic. All right. I'm on Jake right now. Therefore shall the land mourn, and everyone that dwelleth therein shall languish with the beasts of the field and with the fowls of heaven. Yeah, the fishes of the sea also shall be taken away. In the spirit, just think about it. Every hood, I don't care where you go, Miami, Detroit, Chicago, Cleveland, Atlanta. When you go to them inner cities, the land is going to be mourning. It's going to be nothing but lying, killing, stealing, swearing, committing adultery and bloodshed. Violence everywhere. I don't care. You can go from LA to New York City. All right. From Detroit to Miami. Cover all territories of it. If it's a hood, that's what you're going to get. You're going to know when you're in the hood. It's going to have that black cloud over it. You're going to see the signs. You're going to see crackheads. You're going to see it. Niggas sprawled out on the corner. All of that. That's our people under the curses, man. And adultery is one of them things where the Lord, he don't take that lightly. Now, because let me get this too. Cause see, our Lord reiterated, like, And this is a lack of knowledge. People don't really understand this scripture right here, because they think if you look at a woman, you commit adultery. No, if you look at another man's wife, because men, we naturally gonna look at women. Now, you're not supposed to just be graveling and your tongue out and your eyes get big. No, you ain't supposed to be doing that. But you know, Matthew 5:28 say, "But I say unto you that so whoever look on a woman to lust after her have committed adultery with her already in his heart." So when you look at another man's wife, you got to think, because looking at a woman, is that really a sin? But when you lusting and you could be committing adultery. But the only way you could commit adultery is what? If a woman is married. If a woman ain't married, then you can't commit adultery with her. All right, you gotta think about that. Let me do something. Commit adultery. To be an adulterer, to commit adultery with, have unlawful intercourse with another man's wife. All right, with another man's wife. So, committing adultery, and we know we got committing, well, let me see, like spiritual fornication, committing adultery. It says a Hebrew idiom, the word used of all who at a woman's solicitation are drawn away to idolatry, to the eating of things sacrificing to idols. So we got that, but it says, now where do it say about the man though? See, a man dealing with another woman, that's not adultery unless she's married. To commit adultery with, have unlawful intercourse with another man's wife. So you gotta think. Say a girl ain't married, and you looking at her. The first thing a man gonna look at is how sexy she is. That's just a man's nature. You're gonna be sexually attracted to her. All right. So they don't understand this scripture. No, it's if a woman walking around and she's single, and the way these women walk around, men can't help but to be, and that's another thing. Like, this is why the Lord told women to dress modestly. Because you got married women out here that dress like they, about to hit the club. And what that do? That make Jake look at her in a lustful manner. And even that is committing adultery right there. You gazing at another woman. We got to be careful about that. You might see a man walking with his woman and she thick, she got the curves. You can't be all gazing at her like that. Gazing, looking like, dang, I hit that. That's adultery right there. That's what the Lord mean. Them thoughts right there, that's what the Lord going into. You looking at her booty. When they walk off, you looking at her backside. You looking at her, her legs, her thighs, her breasts. You looking at her. You kind of sizing her up per se, and you like, she look, yeah, that's adultery right there. She with that man, that's his woman. You could tell when a man and a woman walking together and they're a couple. They might hold hands, they might hug, they might be, you can kind of tell that energy for the most part. Sometimes you can't, but for the most part, you can kind of tell the energy. It's a different energy if it's brother and sister. You know what I'm saying? So when a man with his woman, and that's why y'all woman, especially when y'all married and involved, y'all need to cover that shit up. All right? Because see, that can cause men to kind of go off. Because a man naturally just want to look at a beautiful woman, look at the curves. So this is a part of that lack of knowledge on all levels, man. And we can't overlook these things. So now I want to go back, because before I go back, let's just get Deuteronomy. Let's just get it. All right. Now that we went into what adultery is, real adultery is. Deuteronomy 5:18, the Lord told us what? Neither shall thou commit adultery. All right. So we shouldn't commit adultery. All right. Let me see something. So it says, usually of a man, right? Always with the wife of another, all right? Of a man, adultery of a woman. A woman that breaketh wedlock. See? In the Strong's definition. Let's see, now when you get down here, it says use both of a male and female to commit adultery with a woman. Okay? Sleeping with another man's wife. Yeah. So that's true adultery, man. When you sleep with another, I just wanted to throw that out there, man. This is a part of that lack of knowledge. Leviticus 20. And see, you notice how Tupac, he went down by that gun violence, man. He was always trouble. All right. Now we can, you can be like, oh man, the gang violence to this, yeah, that was a part of the judgment too. But hey, you don't know how many men's women he touched. He might have really did something with Biggie's wife. That was counted against him. A lot of them rappers be doing that. Future was bragging about with Scottie Pippen's wife, like all that type of stuff. The Lord ain't just sitting back and not judging. He ain't gonna just let that fly. You know what I'm saying? Leviticus 20 and 10 say, and a man that had committed adultery with another man's wife, see, the man that committed adultery with another man's wife, not having more than one woman, even he that committed adultery with his neighbor's wife, the adulterer and the adulteress shall surely be put to death. See? They got to be put to death. All right? So, you know what I'm saying? That's what adultery is, when you sleep with another man's wife. Not if you got a wife and then you see a single girl over here, you like her, y'all might deal with each other. That's not adultery. That's not adultery. You ain't committed no adultery. You only commit adultery when you sleep with another man's wife. All right. So now I want to go back. Let me get this last one too. Proverbs 6 and 32. It says, but whoso committeth adultery with a woman lacketh understanding. He that doeth it destroyeth his own soul, man. All right. So you destroy your own soul. Let me see what the NLT gives us. It says, but the man who commits adultery is an utter fool, for he destroyeth himself. See, you destroy yourself. And that's why, let's go back to the story now. Let me go back to Genesis 20. Had to make this point. This just was on my spirit after reading. Now, we left off on verse 3. It says, but Genesis 20 in the NLT, verse 3, but that night the Most High came to Abimelech in a dream and told him, you are a dead man, see, for that woman you have taken is already married. But Abimelech had not slept with her yet, so he said, Lord, will you destroy an innocent nation? Didn't Abraham tell me she is my sister? And she herself said, yes, he is my brother, and I accept it in complete innocence. My hands are clean. In the dream, the Most High responded, yes, I know you are innocent. That's why I kept you from sinning against me and why I did not let you touch her. And that lets you know we don't got free will, because the Lord said that's why I ain't let you touch her. All right. He could have made him touch her and sinned against him. Now return the woman to her husband, and he will pray for you, for he is a prophet. Then you will live. But if you don't return her, you can be sure that you and all your people will die. See? So sometimes niggas get touched up. They whole house get touched up because a nigga been out running rapid, dealing with all these chicks, and a lot of these chicks be involved. All right? A lot of these chicks be involved. Now, what can you do if a woman tell you she ain't got no man and you don't know and you deal with her? You know what I'm saying? You didn't know. The Lord might wink at you, like in this situation. You could be deemed innocent. But if you know, you know. Once she say, oh, I got a man, I got a boyfriend or I'm married. Then you got to step off. She can look good, all she want, but you can't deal with her. All right. It says, verse 8, Abimelech got up early the next morning and quickly called all his servants together. When he told them what happened, his men were terrified because they knew, you know what I'm saying, they knew the destruction that could be brought on by dealing with another man's wife. All right. It says, then Abimelech called for Abraham. What have you done to us? He demanded. What crime have I committed to deserve treatment like this? You see how serious that was? Now, in our community, a man, he just gonna look over it. Like, oh, you, okay, whatever. It's bragged upon. Again, in these rap songs, that's one of the main topics in rap, dealing with another man's chick. But here you had these men, they was terrified. Abimelech looking like, man, what I do to you, bro? He demanded, what crime have I committed that deserve treatment like this, making me and my kingdom guilty of this great sin? No one should ever do what you have done. See? No one should ever do. So just think if you know, brothers respected, you know, that law, you know, like these men did, guess what? A lot of stuff will be chill. But that's why, you know, we know what it is. We under the curses, man. And in the kingdom, you ain't gonna have no adultery, man. Everybody gonna respect everybody woman, man. Or women, per se, you know. We gonna respect our brethren, woman. Like, nah, you know, that's off limits. It ain't even gonna be in us to lust and gaze and do none of that. All right. And furthermore, women ain't gonna be walking around how they walk around in this kingdom. In Esau kingdom, women can walk around how they want to. In our kingdom, our women gonna have respect. They gonna have class. They're not gonna be all. They gonna be covered. All right, for only our eyes to see. All right, it says, verse 10, whatever possessed you to do such a thing? Abraham replied, I thought this is a godless place. They will want my wife and want to kill me to get her, right? Because, you know, so, and she really is my sister, for we both have the same father but different mothers, and I married her. When the Most High called me to leave my father's home and to travel from place to place, I told her, do me a favor. Wherever we go, tell the people that I'm your brother. Then Abimelech took some of his sheep and goats and cattle and male and female servants, and he presented them to Abraham. He also returned his wife Sarah to him, and Abimelech said, look over my land and choose any place where you would like to live. And he said to Sarah, look, I am giving your brother 1,000 pieces of silver in the presence of all these witnesses. This is to compensate you for any wrong I may have done you. This will, Salakia, I had, let me just get that off. Salakia, I had some music playing in the background. I'm about to wrap up. And he said to Sarah, look, I'm giving your brother 1,000 pieces of silver in the presence of all these witnesses. This is compensation for you for any wrong I may have done to you. This will settle any claim against me, and your reputation is clear. Then Abraham prayed to the Most High, and the Most High healed Abimelech, his wife, and his female servants so they can have children. So you see what the Lord had done to them. For the Lord had caused all the women to be infertile because of what happened with Abraham's wife, Sarah. So, hey, man, a lot of times, you know, households be getting destroyed. You know what I'm saying? Nigga done went out and dealt with another man, woman. He playboy, and he brought calamities to him and his household. We can't overlook these things. So, you know, that's pretty much the point. This was on my spirit after reading, Lord willing. This was edifying. Until the next lesson. Shalom.